Hey guys, Zangetsu 134 here, and with me is
AverageJoeSquad.
And we just got out of a certain movie. And we have a special guest commentator with us. Stealth Suit Tom Holland, as I like to call him.
Dark Monkey.
So we got out of seeing Spider-Man Far From Home, and as you can see, we're once again snacking. We're at McDonald's, and I got one of these.
It's going to be a theme. We're just going to gradually up what we're eating. Like, we're going to be eating shrimp and one up. We're going to have a grill stuck in the back at one point.
Well, they got like these international foods at McDonald's, and I wanted to try these Stroop waffle things, and it's really good because I've had Stroop and waffle. Well, I think I've had like the cookies because you can get them at like Wegmans, and this is really good. I have a hankering for ice cream.
Yeah. So yeah, we went and saw Far From Home, the final film in the phase. It's 3. We were in phase 3, right? The final film of the phase 3 stage of the MCU. And honestly, it felt kind of like a closing movie. You know what I mean? Probably, I think a little more than Endgame did. I mean, Endgame felt like a passing of the torch.
In some ways,
almost.
I feel like more for Iron Man than Endgame, just because of the fact that Peter is so interconnected with Iron Man.
Yeah.
They kind of want to do a passing of the torch with Tom Holland, I feel. But yeah. And before we get into spoilers and stuff, I liked it. I have a few issues with some things, but mostly overall and stuff that I kind of had problems with in Homecoming, which we'll get into. But overall, I thought it was a solid fixture.
I likewise liked it, but as we're gonna get into, I have issues with MCU's representation of Peter, but we'll get into those later. I have what I think is pretty good reasoning for it.
For one, they keep constantly calling the MCU the 616 universe,
and it's not. I'm sorry, it's not.
Well, and to be fair, we did hear that from the villain of this piece.
Yeah, which I'm saying is a bunch of BS. It's not 616.
I do think in the comics they try to call it like the 616-MCU. Which, fair. I don't really, like, you can say it's an offshoot. I don't really care. I consider this its own thing, and I can forgive when they do stuff that's radically different from the comics. I like that they take what works. They don't take what's bad. For instance, I think Captain America Civil War is the best version of Civil War. Fight me. But overall, it was interesting. Like, I liked seeing Peter having to live up to his own, trying to live up to what Iron Man believed in him, and how he was, and kind of how this movie represents him trying to escape his problems. Like, he tries to go on a field trip with his friends, it was basically a summer vacation thing for like the science club. Actually, the opening does a lot to go into exactly explaining what happened in a world after the snap, which they call the blip for some reason.
They went and explained how I know when Endgame dropped, there was a lot of discussion about how Peter and I'm assuming Ned didn't get snapped. That's my thing, is Ned didn't get snapped.
Basically, all of his class didn't get snapped for the most part, which is convenient.
But basically, they explain how the people that did get snapped that were in high school, how they're still in high school 5 years later. It's because basically what happened was they restarted the whole year for all the people that were...
And some of them have aged up. Like say middle schoolers. Like one of them with them on the science team is actually a middle schooler that's actually, grown up.
They make a joke about Flash Thompson. He's actually 16, not 21.
Yeah, he tries to sneak booze on the airplane they go on.
But
he somehow got a first-class ticket instead of the rest of the class because his mommy bought him that.
Which I actually liked how they explained it. They had it as basically like a school news report with Betty Brant and I can't remember the other character's name.
He's not important. Basically, like, this is their way of creating the MCU Betty, which they had make her a blonde. Like, you couldn't have gotten a brunette actress for this.
I swear, man, what they'll probably do, this Betty's going to probably be a mixture of Gwen and Betty Brant, because for some reason they get gun-shy when it comes to Gwen with everything.
I mean, the MJ in this universe, and I know, before you type your comments, I know people don't like the way MJ's done in these movies. For one, she's not technically called Mary Jane, her name is something else, they just call her MJ because that's her nickname. Although she acts like MJ, in my opinion, especially Ultimate MJ, who's goth, and... that sort of thing. But yeah, which I meant, that was really funny when And the marching band that got snapped back, and they were all of a sudden in the exact same spots.
A basketball game.
Yeah, that was actually really funny. I will admit I like that just because like they actually hook her and Ned up, which is a reference to the comics because they were married.
They actually mentioned too that May got snapped, which I thought May hadn't been one of the ones in the snap.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Well, because like you never saw May. Like that was one of the problems I had with it because like Peter doesn't instantly like be like, I hope my aunt's okay or wasn't snapped or anything like that. He was worried about Tony out there in the game. Which was frustrating.
We'll get into the Tony-Peter relationship frustrations a little later, but...
The film actually opens on Fury and Maria Hill investigating, like, an attack by a tornado with a face in Mexico. Which Maria says the dumbest thing, where she's like...
People under stress hallucinate things or something like that. I'm like,
you live in a universe with aliens and a dude who made a suit of armor?
It's like later. There's this scene. It's in the trailer. Where basically it's Fury and Peter talking, and Peter's like, "I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." Bitch, please, you've been to space.
Yeah.
It's like.
Now, let me be fair. Apparently, they do kind of explain the problems with Maria and Fury at the end, but we'll get into that. And so basically, they come across the man who is wearing all green and a cape, who later calls himself Mysterio. And he tells them that he's from an alternate dimension and that these creatures are elementals that are essentially coming from his universe after destroying his world and universe altogether, and they have to stop them.
And they buy it, because Mysterio never fucking lies at all.
That is a big problem I have with, like, every single person who went to see this movie, is that they...
Oh my god, man. The reveal later in the film, because, spoiler alert, Mysterio's the villain. Big shocker to anybody that's ever picked up a comic book or played a video game or watched the animated thing. He's a villain. He always has been. He lies about it. And we had people in the theater that were shocked, and I'm just like, you can Google this.
Yeah.
He's a villain.
In fact, I think for this movie, we're just gonna pretend that we knew the whole time that obviously you and I did, but like
we knew the whole time.
In the context of the film, basically, he and Fury work together to get Spider-Man because Spider-Man's the only Avenger currently on Earth, I guess.
What about Thor? Off-world. Doctor Strange, unavailable. Captain Marvel, do not invoke her name.
You guys couldn't have even at least gotten Falcon, who's the current Captain America, or Hawkeye,
or Hulk,
or Ant-Man,
or Wasp, like anybody? You tell me everybody's unavailable?
Because this is the MCU. And much like the comics, everyone's unavailable except for Spider-Man.
I'll bet you, man, if the Fantastic Four were in the MCU, are you ready? No, they're off-world on a mission. That's exactly how that would have gone.
And Wolverine wouldn't have answered the phone when Fury called at the X-Mansion.
Canadian.
Wolverine, Canadian.
Exactly.
That'd be great.
Canadian.
The Fantastic Four. Johnny changed the number because he was getting tired of all the women calling him. Tell me I'm not wrong on that one.
No, that's how that would go.
And so basically...
What about Deadpool? Not in this universe right now.
Not in this universe and not in a million years. But, so, I guess basically Quentin Beck and Mysterio somehow counted on Fury calling Peter because he somehow found these glasses that Tony was going to give to Peter in case if he died.
Which had an AI system in it named Edith, which stands for Even in Death, I'm the hero. Tony Stark to a T. But
it is.
Basically, it allows access to all of the Stark satellites, numerous things, Stark tech,
the ability to access anyone's phones,
defense archives, like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, like power that you shouldn't give a 16-year-old boy, because when he accidentally gets like this woman that like works with Fury to take off his clothes so that he can put on his new stealth suit. This dude who's also trying to get with MJ takes a picture of him hooking up, or like appearing to hook up with some random woman who looks like at least 10 years older than him. And like, he tries to use Edith to erase those pictures from his phone and accidentally gets a drone strike on him. Yeah. Because Tony decided, yeah, no. Like, say what you will about Friday and Homecoming, at least, like, he had put the training wheels algorithm in it so that he wouldn't end up using the kill move to kill somebody. But, and basically, Quentin Beck and other scientists and people that were, like, shamed by the community, including the dude from the first Iron Man film that gets yelled at by, Stain. Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. The guy was like, well, with all good respect, I'm not Tony Stark. Is working for the dude. Apparently their plan was to get Peter to convince Peter that he should give these glasses to Mysterio.
Sign over the controls so that he could get the kill satellites to make even bigger illusions to make himself the new Iron Man. It's great. It's not a half-bad plan, but there's a lot of dependence in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, gambits here that I don't think he really counted on. Like, I get getting Fury's attention, but he could have called any other Avenger, and your plan would have been screwed.
Could have called Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel would have been like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, no. Like, even Peter, at least a little bit, like multiverse stuff is like, that raises a lot of questions. Questions that he doesn't answer. And I will admit, I actually really love the idea of Quentin, instead of Quentin Beck being like a movie guy, he was like a Steve Jobs dude who created like this illusion technology so that he could like do weaponize it.
And Tony took it.
Yeah, and Tony took it and turned it into a therapy program that he named BARF.
Which obviously kind of insulted Beck to the point of just driving him to be a freaking supervillain.
Yeah, and so basically he wants to prove that he's better than Tony. Which, again, is like the second villain in these movies to really kind of have a man-on for Stark in these films, or at least in the Spider-Man series. Because even, like, Vulture was like that, because he's like, you took my job from me, and now I have to become, like, a weapons dealer on the black market. Because I'm Batman. I mean, Vulture.
Michael Keaton.
And while all this is going on, which I will admit
Check out our Batman vlog coming soon as well.
Well,
whenever that gets uploaded.
Probably Saturday when I actually have time to upload it, because it's a long vlog.
Oh, yeah. We talk a lot.
So, while this is going on, Peter's trying to, like, kind of, like, grieve. Like, he doesn't want to be Spider-Man, so, like,
I really appreciated at the beginning. There's a scene at the beginning where May has organized a fundraiser for those that were displaced by the blip. And basically, there's this part near the end where it's basically like a meet and greet and, take pictures with Spider-Man stuff. And all these reporters mob the poor kid.
Yeah.
And basically, he has what I would consider to be like a panic attack.
Yeah.
Which I can empathize with because I have panic attacks myself. So that was probably a good, accurate representation of what that feels like. Where basically, you can hear everybody talking, but you can't pick out what the hell is being said.
And so, like, Peter's like, AKA, Peter basically wants to kind of, like, have an escape. Because he's 16. And this really sticks to your teeth.
That's like my fries, man. My fries are sticking to my teeth.
And so, Peter, like, just wants to go on this vacation. He didn't even want to pack his suit. Aunt May puts it in there.
You almost forgot this.
Yeah.
You can dodge bullets, but not a banana.
Yeah, that's the thing I want to kind of talk about when we get to the complaints. But,
call it freaking spider sense.
Oh, yeah, they keep calling it the Peter Tingle, and I'm like, just call it the spider sense. It really frustrated me, but, like, more than that.
Am I a joke to you? That's what I feel like.
So, Peter's trying to hook up with MJ because he, his first girlfriend didn't work out. Because her father was a supervillain, as you do. Man, I feel like that's also like the only time Peter ever actually did deal with a girl being a supervillain. That usually is for like other characters.
Yeah.
But so he's trying to hook up with this girl. This dude who during the snap didn't get blipped has grown older and is trying to make the moves on MJ. And Peter's trying to like do this whole romantic gesture where he buys her a necklace, a Black Dahlia necklace.
And he's gonna give it to her on top of the Eiffel Tower. And with typical Parker luck, it just goes completely down the drain at every possible chance. Because Fury shows up, because the whole movie up to this point, it's my phone.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Fury, he's been ghosting Fury. Fury's been trying to call him, and he keeps hanging up on him.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, and so finally, Fury finds out where they're at, which conveniently is in the same location where the next elemental is going to attack.
Yeah.
And
which is Hydro Man.
He basically shoots Ned with a dart, and he's like, I at one point knew everything that was going on. There were no surprises whatsoever. Then I get blipped, I'm gone for 5 years, and I'm done. Go ahead. And he's like, I have no clue what is going on. And he's like, and there is a teenager that is ghosting me.
No, that was pretty good. Well, they cut out the scene in the trailer where he tells him that you should roll Ned over so he doesn't choke on his own tongue.
There was footage in the trailer that wasn't in the movie, I noticed.
Yeah, that was weird.
I think they did that for Endgame, though.
What's weird to me is, like, the news says that Quentin Beck, because, like, the kids checked the news,
and call him Mysterio.
Well, no, like, they said that Hydro Man was, like, a dude who fell into, like, a bunch of chemicals and became living water.
Well, they looked it up on the internet, and it's like, okay.
Well, yeah, true, MJ does say it, but, like...
I'm just checking my phone real quick.
No worries.
I want to know who the heck's texting me. Okay, so, like, a buddy of mine's arguing with me about different...
Well, it just makes me wonder if, like, Beck really actually is feeding information about these elementals. Because, like... Or, like, that Fury's trying to cover it up, like, what the elementals are, but it's just odd to me. Like, not like a bad odd. I just wonder if, like, that was just, like, oh, more BS for Mysterio. And that's the thing with Mysterio. Sometimes there is things where I'm like, is this actually BS? Or is this just somebody messing online with the internet? So, yeah, Peter eventually realizes he's been messed with. Thanks to the help of MJ. Because she knows he's Spider-Man. Or at least she had an idea he was Spider-Man.
She was only 60% sure.
She was only, 67%. And I will admit, I really like MJ in this. She feels, like, really close to the character. Like, there's a scene later where she fights a drone with a mace. Which is pretty in character of MJ.
So I brought up the fact to him earlier, there's a Marvel Knights comic where MJ literally shoots the Green Goblin
with a gun. Or
the part in Spider-Girl where she hits Normie with a lamp.
Oh no, that was so MJ.
Throws him out a window.
And I know people are going to get complaints like, "Oh, MJ wouldn't do that." I'm like, first of all, you don't know MJ. MJ's
even
cool.
in the Raimi trilogy, she drops a cinder block on Venom.
Yeah,
like,
girl don't play when her man is in trouble. And so that's when he realizes he's been had, and he gave dangerous technology to a bad guy. Although I will admit, I can't blame him for this, because Mysterio's con was, like, pretty top-notch con.
No, it actually, when they went into it, it was like, okay, wow, this is actually pretty remarkably put together.
Mysterio is really great in this film. Basically, Peter, and I will admit, Peter was actually kind of clever, where he tells Ned to say that he's going to Berlin? Yeah, Berlin with family, that, like, he has to leave because, like, there's an emergency or something, and he has to go to Berlin for some family stuff. And, I'm not entirely sure how he got to Berlin. I want to say he probably took a taxi. Guys, I mean, they're in Prague, so they probably...
Taxi or train or something. Probably a train.
And so...
Railway travel is still big over there, I'm pretty sure.
And so he finds Fury, and he tries to tell Beck, or not Beck.
Beck and Fury both.
Yeah. Well, he tries to warn Fury about Beck. And Fury's like, didn't you tell anyone else about this? And he says, well, MJ and Ned, but that's just because they already know everything about me.
And surprise, surprise, that Fury is an illusion by Mysterio. And he's like, okay, now your friend's got to die too.
Yeah, and it goes into probably my favorite part of this whole movie, the Mysterio mind games. Like, he, like, does these illusions.
That's how Mysterio should be. That's how he is in the comics.
Like, probably my favorites are, he creates an illusion of, like, Peter's home in Queens, and then a giant Mysterio fist punches him through, the sky.
My favorite part was the part with the costumes, where, like, the homecoming one comes back.
Like, he's like, you're just a kid in sweats, so he comes into, like, his proto costume, Like the fact that his stealth suit becomes like the regular costume he has. He's like, he even like plays with his fear of not living up to Tony by having like a zombie Iron Man come out of a grave and like spiders crawl out of the face. Where he turns the Mysterio fishbowl into like a snow globe and tries to like bury Peter. That was so good. That
was like classic Mysterio.
Oh, it was so fun because it was all just these really messed up illusions, and it just worked for me. Like, he played to Peter's fears, and it was so good. And so I guess they try to imply that it kind of messed with his spider sense, or that at least it causes him to get so afraid it makes him not. There's a real problem with the MCU and how Peter's spider sense works. For one, in Homecoming, I didn't even know he had spider sense, because he gets hit with stuff that like he shouldn't.
They just never mention it.
And then in Infinity War, he has, like, the hairs on his arm stand up when the invasion happens. And I'm like, oh, so that's how his spider sense works?
It's almost like they're afraid to even bring it up. And I'm like, it's part of the character. It's like an iconic thing, spider sense. It's in popular culture for a reason. Like, we all know what it is.
Raimi did it better. Like, Raimi just hadn't happened. Like, he had, like a little noise, and then Peter sees everything happen in slow motion, and then he reacts.
Even ASM did it pretty well.
Yeah, I don't really understand why the MCU doesn't want to use it. Like,
it's almost like why they're so afraid of people being wearing masks and stuff. It's like they're almost worried the costumes make everything look ridiculous, which it's like, it's a superhero movie.
Yeah,
it's supposed to look a little ridiculous.
Like, I think the only reason they have to do it with Spider-Man is because is my headlight? Oh. Okay, no, I thought my headlights were on, but...
No, that's just the light up ahead.
So yeah, Peter eventually gets, like, knocked out and arrested and sent to the Netherlands somehow. I never did get how he got to the Netherlands. Oh, no, that's right.
He gets on the train and he passes out.
Yeah,
like
he gets, Beck basically puts him in front of a train, and he almost gets...
Run the hell over.
And...
It totally worked last time.
Yeah, he somehow managed to grip on faster than I've ever seen Peter grip on anything, like, even for him. And, like, I mean, granted, he's pretty banged up. Like, his fingers are clearly bleeding from, like, gripping onto this, like, bullet train. And, like, he's, like, limping, and he just collapses into a train car and wakes up in the Netherlands. Here, right now, I remember. Yeah, he was a stowaway. And so basically his stealth suit gets taken by the Netherlands police, where the Netherlands apparently is really a really nice place, because like this dude, like, he calls Happy to pick him up, and this dude just lets him use his phone, and he's like, oh, we're here in the Netherlands, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name of that city.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it either.
It was just a word salad. I'm not even going to try, because I'm not going to offend anybody.
Sorry, big family over there. So.
And so, you know, Happy shows up, and they're in a tulip field, which is pretty iconic Netherlands.
It's like, wait, are you real? Like,
that's great.
He's so out of it because of Mysterio. He like, makes Happy say something
only Tony, or only the real Happy would know.
When you were watching pay-per-view, and we couldn't see the titles, but we knew by the amount of money it was an adult movie.
Okay. I will admit, I like the fact that him and Happy have now become friends, because in Homecoming he treated Peter like a babysitting job. But, like, I like the fact that the two of them are now, at least on decent terms, aside from Happy having a summer fling with his aunt. Although I can't blame Happy, because this Aunt May is fine.
Thick.
But, so, like, and so finally, I think Happy being the only person that actually cares, well, not care, but, like,
gets it.
Like, both him and Happy,
besides maybe Pepper.
Yeah. Both him and Happy finally just sit down and talk, and Peter's like, I miss him, and I don't think I can be Iron Man. And Happy's like,
you're not Iron Man. You're not gonna ever be Iron Man.
And like, he's like, Tony couldn't be Iron Man. Like, he second-guessed himself all the time. You know, he was afraid every move he did would screw up. But the one good thing he never second-guessed himself on was you, kid. And so that finally gets Peter, you know, up and at him. So they find out that Mysterio sent... I know, I shouldn't...
He sent him to London.
Yeah, he sent him to London. And so Peter go use the Quinjet to get him there. And while he's doing that, he makes the suit you see in the trailer
with the black,
and the
blue.
And so
coming soon to the Insomniac PS4 game, free of charge with the stealth suit as a patch,
along with stealth mode Tom Holland.
So there's no date on that, but it is coming. It was announced through IGN, so it is official. Also,
he never uses this weapon in the movie the whole time. I was very disappointed.
It's like, what do you mean Insomniac's adding more suits? I get it. How much?
How much? Yeah, no.
Everybody wants my money. What do you mean they're adding the suits for free?
Wait, what do you mean?
Insomniac spoils us so much.
No, he does. But to be fair, they do good stuff.
They actually care.
And so, he makes his suit, which bless Happy's heart, he sets it to back in black because it wouldn't be an Iron Man suit up montage without it. Because that's basically what Peter does here, is he's making his new Spider-Man suit, complete with new gadgets to help him deal with the drones.
They actually showed the comic Iron Spider design as well,
which
me and him were both for like, get us that one.
Real, because it looks
that one looks
cool.
So much better. Honestly, that would have looked amazing.
Like, I'm sorry, I hate Endgame Iron Spider because it's just his regular costume but with gold highlights. That's not nearly as fun as getting an entire new suit, and you gave him 2 new suits in this. So, they get to. They get there and Peter realizes how he has to concentrate on using his spider sense instead of just letting himself be controlled by his anxieties and fears.
And there's this big fight scene with him destroying all these drones and stuff, and using this bridge and stuff. And it's a really well put together scene, and it works very, very well.
In fact, Happy actually gets a little hidden message to Nick Fury about appearances can be deceiving, which finally apparently cues Fury in, but we'll get to that. And so, Peter, eventually runs out of webbing, so he can't reach Beck right away.
Just like one of the first times I've ever seen this in a Spider-Man movie. They actually get the part where he'll run out of webbing.
And so he, using like one of these weird like pulse generators and a sign from the London Bridge, he basically does what Cap does in the Endgame he basically uses it like Mjolnir and he uses it to blow up most of the drones and then use the board to launch himself into the air, which was so cool. And then he finally gets to his final battle with Mysterio, which I actually like how Beck is in this is wearing like a CGI outfit and just the bubble to use Edith. I like it that it makes it that like this Mysterio is so smoke and mirrors, even his costume is smoke and mirrors. Because like he has to wait for his actual suit to get made.
Yeah, and it's like the sequence leading up to this is very well done, where basically, Mysterio kicks the illusions on, and Peter just using his spider sense, he destroys all these drones, and he obviously can barely see what he's doing, but he's running purely on spider sense.
Yeah.
It's very, very well done.
And so he decides to take the safety feature that doesn't get him shot off so that he can try potentially hit Peter, and he ends up getting hit as well. Except that he didn't, because it was one more smoke and mirrors. And he tries to shoot Spider-Man point blank using his own camo, and Peter grabs the gun and then just punches Beck's lights out, supposedly killing him. While this is going on, Happy, MJ, Ned, Flash, and Betty are trying to outrun drones, which we get to MJ deciding, screw it, I'm gonna get a mace. She also finally admits to Peter that she actually wanted to tell him that she likes him. Because, like, what's weird is, like, she's willing to be really blunt about the truth about everything else except that she likes Peter because she has issues with talking to, or like being affectionate, basically. I think because, like, they show her text messaging, and it says, like MJ, this is your mother, your father and I haven't heard you in a while, kind of to imply that, she's got family troubles.
Yeah.
In fact, we never see her house. Like, she meets Peter up later when they go on a date, web swinging. She meets him on the street, which was interesting. I almost wonder if that's supposed to imply that she does have a bad home life, like in the Ultimate Universe. And so basically, Peter thinks it's all over. Everyone goes home. He finally gets the girl. They end their date web swinging. He's about to go off. And then there's a news story revealing that Beck has created a video that implies that Peter was behind everything.
But wait, that leads into what me and
yeah, I actually clapped in the theater because I was so happy.
He started an applause for this. They get J.K. Simmons to come back as J. Jonah Jameson, and it is freaking perfect.
And he's basically the PS4 J. Jonah, where he has
everybody strap in because this one's a real doozy.
Yeah, because he's basically Alex Jones, and and he believes that Peter is or Spider-Man is the one behind it, and revealed that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and that's where it ends. Well, until we get to the end credit scene, which people walked out on.
Yeah, this guy in like an $80 Avengers hoodie got up and walked out, and I'm like, you're a freaking idiot, dude. Like, come on. How many movies into this now?
Yeah,
you don't know to stay for the post-credit? Probably just because Endgame didn't have it?
And
now it does because of the re-release?
Yeah. And my other really big issue I have with this film is the end credit, because people were talking about how this was like a mind-blowing end credit. I think what they meant was that J. Jonah Jameson is finally in the MCU.
Because the second one, the only thing that's mind-blowing is
that Fury and him were the Skrulls from Captain Marvel. And apparently everyone around us never saw Captain Marvel. So they're like, oh, I guess the Skrulls exist now. And I'm like, no, they've existed for like 2 or 3 movies.
I wonder if some of these people were like, well, we don't like Brie Larson, so we didn't go see it. Like, are you guys kidding me?
Like,
that group of kids that were like a couple rows below us, I almost said, I'm like, guys, it's Captain Marvel. It's a reference. Like, we'll go watch the movie.
So apparently, like, the Skrull and his wife from Captain Marvel...
Talos. That's what
Talos. I forget his name.
Who shares the name of the god from Skyrim.
Yeah. Call Fury to let them know that, like, they kind of messed up, and he's
got a little bit off the rails for a little bit.
And apparently Fury's on vacation, so and apparently Maria is too.
Back to work.
And so
where's my shoes?
Yeah, Fury's in space, taking his vacation in basically the barf thing. And I think it's kind of implying that he's looking for Captain Marvel. I want to say it's because like him and the Skrulls are looking for Captain Marvel, or that apparently
which leads into where did Carol go? Like,
I'm guessing it's a Kree-Skrull war, like that the war's still going on.
Well, probably what happened was the war stopped momentarily because of the snap, and then once everybody got unsnapped, it just started up again.
Especially because like he's on a Skrull ship, so I don't know where else he'd be going. Him and I kind of think maybe the next Guardians film, which they have to be making a Guardians film.
So. It's already announced they got Guardians 3. They already got that director to come back who had been fired.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's dedefinitely getting made.
I feel like we're probably going to get Guardians first, and it will lead into her them talking with Captain Marvel, and that goes into Captain Marvel 2.
And we actually had a great thing about, if Captain Marvel 2 or Guardians 3 finally like solidifies this multiverse theory. I told him, like, my ultimate thing, which is probably a pipe dream, probably won't ever happen, but I can still dream, would be, there's like a portal that opens up, and, they see somebody come through, and
it looks like Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I said, I'm like, and somebody's like, because Carol knows who Spider-Man is. He's like, like Peter. And, it would either be Garfield or be Maguire. He's like, just be like, well, not the one you're
probably thinking of, but that would be cool. I
doubt that will happen.
I'm hoping more it would be like
or like a Fantastic Four
or an X-Men thing to like finally give us the X-Men and the Fantastic Four.
Got all your invitations right here, Bubba.
Or like he's like, is somebody wanting a clobbering time? I kind of
something to get Fantastic Four set up. They said they're going to reboot that first.
Yeah, but
which it needs it bad.
But yeah, that was the movie. Overall, I think it was fun. I think if nothing else, Mysterio is great. I loved Mysterio in this.
I enjoyed it a lot more than Homecoming.
It definitely is a lot more solid than Homecoming, because I think Mysterio is more of an interesting villain.
Versus the Vulture. Who's the Vulture.
Like,
no offense to Vulture fans, but the Vulture's just not interesting.
He's fine, but like, he's
the Vulture.
And like, to be fair, like most of the stuff they gave him was just stuff for that movie.
He's a D-level villain at best. I would say a C or a D level. He's up there with Shocker on C level.
I will admit they made him cool. Like, they worked at making him kind of a cool look and interesting for that movie, but he's like small potatoes, really. But like Mysterio in this was great. If nothing else, I'm happy that Mysterio's first on-screen cinematic appearance was just knocked out of the park. I'm sure we're gonna see more of him, because I doubt that Mysterio is actually dead. I really doubt it. And fans who try to tell me he is
have never read a comic book and know how many times he's faked his death.
Did you watch the movie? And how he, like, is all smoke and mirrors?
I don't know if anybody else, if you noticed it either.
What?
Did you hear me remark that some of the buildings they were showing in the final part right before the first credits? Did you notice some of those buildings were from the Raimi movie?
Oh yeah, you told me about that. Because
like the one with the green roof, that's from the Raimi film. It's on the cover of the collector's edition I have for the first movie.
I want to say like one of the buildings had like clearly the offices of the Daily Bugle from the Raimi verse.
Yeah, so I'm like,
I almost thought that was going to be.
I appreciate those little things they threw in.
But more than anything else, the fact that the one and only J.K. Simmons is back as J. Jonah Jameson. Like,
made the movie, in my opinion.
Like, I applauded, and I didn't mean to applaud, but, like, I was so happy, like, I started applauding.
And I just started doing it.
And everyone else applauded in the screen. Yeah, they're like, yeah!
I didn't clap second. It was actually the chick behind us.
Oh, okay.
And so I was doing, it was like me and her started at the same time.
I know,
and everybody else was doing it.
Like, because, like, we had people wooing in this theater, because it was packed.
Yeah. But I mean, like, they actually showed, before the film, they had the Spider-Man 2 poster up. Yeah. And it said, you know, Spider-Man 2 was released 15 years ago.
Man, I'm almost 30, and that makes me feel really old.
I was 8 when that movie came out.
I was 12, I think.
But I mean, that just shows you that people still love the Raimi movies.
Yeah. But overall, guys, I think this was a good film. I don't think it was as good as Spider-Verse. I think if you think it's gonna be like some amazing film like Endgame, I think you're gonna be disappointed.
Or Spider-Man 2.
Or Spider-Man 2. I don't think this is as good as Spider-Man 2, but this was a solid film.
It was.
It's probably in my top 5.
It's on level with, I think, ASM 1.
Probably my top 5 Spider-Man films. But and like I said, it was just nice to see Mysterio actually get like a good movie, and he was great. Yeah. I can't stress enough how much I like Mysterio.
Yep. So.
Anyway, guys, I think that's gonna be it. I think I might tack an announcement on the end here. I'm probably not gonna finish Kamen Rider Zeo. When the show is done, I'm gonna binge watch the whole series, and I'm gonna, or like the last bit that I didn't see, and I'll give you my final thoughts. But as of late, it's been really hard for me to do episodic videos just because of stuff that's going on in my life right now. Nothing super bad, just it's been kind of hard for me to do. Like, I'm going to try and do as vlogs whenever him and my schedule's available. But otherwise, me doing like an episodic TV show thing is probably going to be put aside for now. I intend, when My Hero Academia comes back on, to start up doing reviews of that when it comes out, just because I will have like a barrier to do it.
Somebody really is texting.
I am very sorry about like me not being able to do the weekly thing anymore. I tried doing bi-weekly. It's just not possible right now. I thank you for your patience, and I will try to do more of these vlogs as I can. I thank you for your patience and your time, and I hope you at least enjoy this vlog and the one him and I did that's going to be coming out this Saturday. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'm Zangetsu 134.
Average Joe Squad.
Sorry for being a bit of a downer at the end of this, but take care.